One color makeover with Dixie Belle Silk Alamo Mineral Paint. I found this little dresser on Marketplace. It was a steal at only $25, but it definitely needed a quick update. I was lucky enough to find that missing knob inside the drawer, and everything was on track, so let's clean it up and get ready for paint. I will be definitely reusing the original hardware to save my pennies. That means clean it up and spray paint it with a little bit of black paint, using my Big Mama's butter to lubricate the drawer glides and cleaning with White Lightning. So what's the plan for this little piece? Well, I'm going to keep it quite simple with Baja Grey Silk Alamo Mineral Paint, a little bit of gel stain, and a brand new transfer. Let's start off by adding gel stain to the top of this piece. I use gel stain a lot because you do not have to sand the surface underneath the gel stain before you begin. All you need to do is simply wipe on this oil-based gel stain on top of the existing finish. You can build your coverage, and I like to go a little bit darker than the original piece to hide the damages. Since I did not want to prime this piece at all before I started painting, all I did was clean and scuff sand and come in with my Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint. This color is called Baja Grey. It's a really great neutral because it's not quite white and it's not quite gray. I like to use a smooth synthetic brush when I'm applying my silk paint. And since this paint has a built-in primer and a built-in top coat, when I am finished applying my paint, I am done. I will apply 2 even coats of Baja Grey to this small piece. And don't worry, even painting in this really light color is not going to show any stains or bleed through because of the built-in primer that is inside this paint. It's equivalent to 1 even coat of Bonding Boss in clear before you paint. Dixie Belle paint actually has 3 different lines of paint now. They have Terra Clay paint, which is really great for building texture and getting a boho distressed vibe. They have this beautiful silk paint, which gives you a nice, clean, even finish. And then they also have the regular chalk mineral paint in many, many colors. You can find Dixie Belle paint all around the world. We have many different local retailers as well as shopping online. This is a great small business to support. It is woman-run and U.S. owned. I use Dixie Belle paint on every small project that I have here in my home. I absolutely love the variety of paints as well as the bells and whistles line, which gives you tons of options for adding transfers, stencils, or any little bit of shine. I applied this silk paint to the base of my project as well, and then once it's dry, I can move on to transfers. I really like the silk paint for bathrooms and kitchens. I've done my kitchen and my children's bathroom in this paint. It is mildew resistant and it holds up to wear and tear super well. You can really see in this part of the video how well the silk paint covers. The coverage is amazing for a light color paint. I only use 2 even coats. Well, this is getting dry. I'm going to get ready to apply my transfer. So Dixie Belle has some brand new transfers that have arrived in March of 2024, and this one is really cool. This is Sapphire Sonata. It is a beautiful transfer that you can cut up, and it kind of looks like a Mediterranean tile. This transfer is super large. I'm only going to use 2 sheets for this project. I'm going to design a placement over the bottom 2 drawers of this dresser. And if you've never had the option to try a transfer before, you should definitely give them a go. They are super easy to apply and you can design a ton of fun looks on your furniture. So for this design plan, I want to cover the 2 drawers. You can see on each drawer how there's a raised panel. So I want to just put it on top of the raised panel. I'm going to cut the transfer out so that I can place it evenly across the top, joining it together in the middle. And I was pleasantly surprised with this transfer on how thick the actual transfer itself was. You didn't see any of the paint color peeking through the transfer. They are really pretty and vibrant. You can see me here double checking and triple checking my plan. I actually ended up taping off the bottom part of the drawers around where I didn't want the transfer to stick, because once you put them down, they are adhesive, so it's going to stick where you want it or not. And I really only want it on that raised panel on the front. So that blue painter's tape is going to help me protect the areas where I do not want the transfer to stick. So I lined it up very carefully towards the edge. Once it was lined up, I put it down onto the piece. Once you put it down, it's there. It's going to live there. You can't really move it around once you stick it down onto your project. Once it is placed down, I'm going to smooth it out with my hand and then use the enclosed transfer tool to burnish it. I decided to use my sharp knife to cut off the excess and put it aside. I actually saved this just in case I had any boo-boos when I was applying my transfer, so I would have extra material to cover, but I didn't need it in the end. So I'm just going to use my little stick to burnish it down. When I say burnish, you don't have to push that hard. When I first started using transfers about 4 years ago, I was kind of sweaty and pushing down hard and really kind of worked up about how hard they were to use. And believe me, these transfers are very easy. A gentle burnish and pulling up that paper is going to release it down into your project very simply. Personally, I like to go around all of the edges first to make sure that my edges have grabbed onto the piece. You can see me here using my fingernail to really push it down and make sure that it is grabbing onto the surface. You also need to be aware that transfers do not like wax. If you're painting a project and you wax your piece, you cannot apply a transfer on top. It won't stick to the previous wax. So you use that small tool, push it down, and peel off that backing. Then I will peel off my tape and the transfer will be exactly where I wanted it to stick, on the raised part of the front 2 drawers. I did seal these 2 drawers in satin clear coat to lock in my transfer, but the rest of this dresser piece was left as is. Since that silk paint already has a built-in top coat, there's no need to seal. Also, be aware that your transfer needs to be applied to a very dry surface. You can't do this while your paint is still cool and damp and wet. So make sure your paint has been dry, waiting approximately 24 hours before you come in and add your transfer. If you are shopping online, you can find transfers under Bells and Whistles, along with stencils, as well as any little silkscreen stencils or tools that you might need for your application process. I sealed the top of my piece where the gel stain was with Gator Hide, and I was done. All that's left is putting back in that original hardware, and I am good to go. I really like to reuse original hardware whenever possible. Number one, it keeps your job simple. You don't have to drill new holes. And number two, it also is cheap, reusing what you already have. So I like to spray paint my hardware and reuse it on pieces when I can. And then this little cutie was finished. What do you think of this super fast little makeover? I did this in about 24 hours and I absolutely love it. It is adorable. It's a perfect size for an oversized end table or nightstand, and I love the look of that transfer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I post new videos weekly.